What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another WNBA video. We got ourselves a two-game slate to dive into for Tuesday, September 16th. So we're going to break down and analyze those games. I'm going to talk about which way that I'm leaning as far as the points on the spread. And then when it's all said and done, make sure you check down there into that pinned comment. You'll find a link down there that'll send you over to the Guy Boston Sports website. That's where you'll find all of my final plays for these games listed for free. Now, before we dive into these games, let's go ahead and jump over there to the website. We need to take a look back at Sunday. Let's see what we put in and how those plays ended up going down. We do put 5 plays in on Sunday, but we only go 2 and 3 on the day. We took the Lynx, laying 6.5 and parlayed that with a total under 155.5. The Lynx come through for us on the side, but the total goes well up and over the number, so we don't cash there. We took Veronica Burton under 18.5 points plus rebounds. Pretty sure she landed at 19 there, so we don't cash there. Then we took the Dream lane 6.5. They do end up pulling through for us. They win by 12. We took the Mercury plus 2.5 points, man. This one looked good. They were going into overtime with a lot of momentum, and then it all just went away, right? They just get smoked in overtime, so we don't hit on that one either. But then we pull through with the Storm and the Aces, a total over 159.5. So like I said, just 2 and 3 on the day. Not ideal and not how we wanted to start off these WNBA playoffs. But we got these 2 games here for game 2 to dive into and find some value on the board. So let's go ahead and do just that. Let's see if we can bounce back tonight, guys. Smash that like button down there for me if you can. Hit subscribe if you have not already. Let's dive into the mix, man. First game going to be tipping off at 7:30 p.m. We got the Atlanta Dream taking on the Indiana Fever. In Indiana, the Dream are 4-point favorites in this one. Total sitting at 157.5. The Dream, they did take game 1, winning by 12, like I said, and covering as 8-point favorites, and now they're going to be on the road here for game 2. Now, this hasn't been a problem for Atlanta all season long, right? Playing on the road, they've gone 14-7-1 to the number on the year when playing away. And the Dream have covered in the last 4 road games as well that they were made favorites, and they've covered in 6 straight overall, 14 of their last 17, with one of those that they didn't cover in those 17 finishing as a push. Indiana, they've gone 13-9, both straight up and against the spread at home this season. They've covered in their last 3 at home after failing to do so in 3 straight at home prior to that. Atlanta had the slight edge on the glass in game 1, both for total rebounds and offensive boards. This gave them the advantage in terms of second chance points, and they were also able to outscore the Fever in the paint as well. And 2 other key factors in this one, man. The Dream, they didn't shoot great from deep, but they did convert at a higher rate than Indiana, who only hit 2 of their 15 three-point attempts for just 13% shooting, while the Dream, they were able to hit 7 of 22 for 32%. And second, man, we saw the Fever attempt 29 free throws to Atlanta's 21, but they hit those at just a 76% rate as compared to the Dream, who came in at 91%. So shooting was definitely a key factor, with Indiana coming in at 37% for effective field goal percentage, Atlanta 44. Fever had a true shooting percentage of 45%, the Dream 50. There's a big disparity, though, when looking at the Fever, from an away and home split perspective as far as shooting is concerned, man. Looking at Indiana on the road, they're 5th for overall shooting percentage from the field. They come in at dead last for 3-point shooting percentage. Then at home, they're 2nd overall from the field, 1st in the W from deep. Offensive rating jumps from 8th on the road to 2nd when at home. And then defensively, while Atlanta shot slightly better in game 1, the Fever did capitalize more off of Atlanta's mistakes end of the day, as Indiana outscored them 20-13 in points off of turnovers, despite each team giving up the ball 15 times. The Fever sit at 3rd across the board in their last 5 games for offensive, defensive, and net rating, but for as well as they've played, man, and honestly, looking at the team statistics from game 1, despite keeping most things pretty close, the slight advantage on the glass, that slight advantage on the perimeter for Atlanta, and then from the free throw line, those slight advantages, man, it was all good enough to push that lead to a 12-point victory for the Dream. Man, Atlanta's just too deep, man. They're too tough. And even when they go cold offensively, they can just completely shut you down with their lockdown defense, right? Now, Atlanta is 1st for offensive rating. They're 2nd for defensive and net rating over their last 5 games. They've won and covered in 9 of their last 10. They've taken 3 of the 5 head-to-heads between these two so far on the year, including one in Indiana already as a 7-point dog. Look, man, I think that Indiana crowd, it's going to be, in a frenzy. First home playoff game in quite some time. That very well in itself could propel this Fever team to an upset win here, right? But ultimately, man, I just think the Dream are too much. I think this 4-point line just isn't enough. It's almost like they want us to take the Fever here, man. I can't get there. I could see the Dream pulling away late in this game, winning this one by 7, 8 points, winning comfortably. So give me Atlanta here on the side and to close this series out in 2 games. And for the total, we landed below that 160.5 line for game one, finishing at 148. Three of the last four between these two have hit to the under this year. Six of Atlanta's last 10 and six of Indiana's last seven have hit to the under. Looking at this specific number, both teams have hit over this line at a 60% rate over their last five. And at home, the Fever have hit over this number at an 80% rate in their last five games, 77% on the year. Atlanta, they've hit over this mark on the road at a 64% clip on the season, 60% over their last five. And these two, they played to a tempo in game one that would land each of them around third for pace in the league over the last five games. So I like an over looking at this one here. The second game on the slate for tonight, 9:30 p.m. tip-off time, going to be the Las Vegas Aces taking on the Seattle Storm. Aces 6-point favorites, total sitting at 159.5. 17 straight, man. 19 of their last 20. The Aces are accumulating wins so frequently. If you look right now in the dictionary for the word Aces, you're probably going to find it located somewhere between like inevitable and victory, right? Look, they were 14-14 when this winning streak began. They've moved themselves from the middle of the pack to the top tier of the league, man, and right in the middle of the convo when it comes to title contenders. The Storm, they've covered in just 3 of their prior 16 coming into the postseason. Came nowhere close to the number here in game one as well, losing by 25 in Vegas. Now in Seattle for game two, man, I'm not sure I can see that as any kind of advantage for the Storm here, though, right? Over the year, they've gone just 10-12 straight up at home, 5-17 to the number when in Seattle. The Aces, they're not blowing us away on the road or anything, man, but still a more respectable 13-9 straight up, 12-10 against the spread. Vegas has won 2 straight now over the Storm. They did take the last match in Seattle between these two as well. Vegas has had the Storm team's number, man, honestly, over the last couple of years, winning 8 of the last 10 head-to-heads, covering in 7 of those 10. Dating back even further, right? They've taken 16 of the last 20 head-to-heads with the Storm team. Vegas just simply dominated most aspects of game one, looking at that one, right? They were up 10 after the first, 20 after the second, 24 heading into the fourth quarter. And then, like I said, winning that one by 25. They shot the ball extremely well, 51% from the field, 48% from deep. I could see some regression there in that respect heading out on the road for game two. But the thing is, while, I could see some regression there, the thing that I think is going to travel with them is their efficiency with the ball. They're giving up the fewest turnovers per game over their last five while dishing out the most assists per game. In game one, man, more of the same. 23 assists to just 10 turnovers, while the Storm, only 15 assists, 13 turnovers. Vegas outscored the Storm in points off of turnovers as well, 21-12. They out-rebounded Seattle overall and on the offensive glass and outscored the Storm by 10 in terms of second chance points. Like we mentioned already, man, what should be home court here just doesn't quite feel like it as much when talking about the Storm, right? In their last 5 home games, they sit at just 10th for offensive rating, 8th for defensive rating, and 9th for net rating. The Aces, meanwhile, man, in their last 5 on the road, first, second, and second. Asia, she continues to be lights out. Jackie Young continues to complement her from a scoring perspective tremendously. Jewel Lloyd is excelling in her role off of the bench. This team, man, has found its path to a title, and I'm not stepping in front of them right now, so I'd lay the points here with Vegas as far as a lean on the side is concerned. And then for this total, we see it come in a couple points lower than game one, despite these two crushing it over, landing at 179 in a game that closed at 162. Head-to-head, we have seen 3 straight overs between these two, and 4 of their 5 matches this season have hit to the over as well. I think, if anything, we see a slight dip in scoring here because, as mentioned earlier, I do think we see some regression here as far as the, Aces hot hand shooting the ball. The Storm have put up just over 78 points per game in their last 5 games at home, but they have averaged 85 points per game against the Aces so far this year. Vegas, they're putting up 90 points per game over their last 5, 86 points per game against the Storm on the season. So I like these two to get up and over this number again here, man. Like I said, I could see a dip in scoring here, but not as much as this line is indicating here. So give me an over looking at this game. And that is going to wrap it up with the 2 games on the slate, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Hope you found the content helpful and useful. And if you did, please don't forget to smash that like button on your way out. Hit subscribe if you have not already. And that is going to wrap it up, man. Hope you guys all have yourselves a great Tuesday. Hope you guys all cash out. I'll see you back tomorrow for the next one.